Early life. Michelle Louise Buckingham was born in 1967 in regional Victoria, Australia. From the start, she had an energy about her, determined, independent, and sometimes a little too brave for her own good. She was the kind of child who spoke her mind. Teachers often said, "Michelle won't be pushed around." She grew up in a modest home with her mom, dad, and siblings. Her father worked long hours while her mother managed the home. Michelle loved animals, especially dogs, and often brought home strays. She dreamed of working with people, maybe in healthcare, maybe helping others. She hadn't figured it all out yet. But like many teens, Michelle had started to test boundaries. By 16, she dropped out of high school. Her parents were worried but supportive. She was figuring herself out, they thought. No one expected what would come next. October 21, 1983. That night, Michelle had gone to a party. Some friends, music, a few drinks. Nothing wild. But an argument broke out, something petty. Michelle left alone, upset. Her mother later said, "If only she'd called me. I would have picked her up in a heartbeat." Instead, Michelle did what many young people did back then, she hitchhiked. Witnesses later confirmed she was seen near a service station around 11 p.m., looking for a ride. One truck driver remembered her clearly. He said she looked anxious but polite. That was the last time anyone saw her alive. The discovery. 10 days later, a farmer near Kiala, not far from Shepparton, found something unusual under a tree on his property. Shallow soil. A smell. The body had been hastily buried, partially exposed by weather and animals. Michelle had been stabbed multiple times in the chest. Forensic examiners said it was brutal, quick, and likely committed in anger. The news crushed her family. Her mother collapsed on the floor. Her father sat in silence for hours. The community was stunned, but not for long. Life moved on. The case stalled. Leads dried up. Michelle's file gathered dust. A family left behind. Michelle's mother never stopped asking questions. She kept a folder of old articles, notes, even names she overheard in conversations. Birthdays passed. Christmases came and went. No answers. She once said, "You don't move on from something like this. You just get better at pretending." Her father died before knowing what happened to his daughter. He never got peace. He used to drive past the field where she was found, not saying a word. Just staring. A cold case reopened. In 2012, retired Detective Ron Iddles returned to the force to lead Victoria's cold case homicide squad. Known as Australia's greatest detective, he had a reputation for solving the unsolvable. Michelle's case came across his desk. Iddles read it twice. Something didn't sit right. No DNA. No strong suspects. But there was one name, Norman Gribble, a man who made an anonymous call in the 1980s that was never followed up properly. Iddles tracked him down. Gribble was older, frail, and reluctant to talk. But the guilt had built over decades. He eventually confessed, "It was Steve. Steve Bradley. My sister's partner. He killed her. I saw it." The secret witness. According to Gribble, the night Michelle went missing, Bradley was driving with two others, drunk, aggressive, looking for trouble. They offered Michelle a lift. She refused their advances. That refusal triggered rage. Gribble claimed Michelle was stabbed in the car. She screamed once. Then nothing. Iddles asked, "Why didn't you come forward?" "I was scared," Gribble whispered. "He said he'd gut me if I ever spoke." The statement was powerful, but it needed corroboration. Iddles tracked other witnesses. A woman claimed Bradley once bragged about shutting up a girl who wouldn't stop screaming. Another said he'd joked about putting someone in the ground. Bit by bit, the puzzle formed. The arrest of Stephen John Bradley. In 2014, after building a solid circumstantial case, police arrested Stephen John Bradley. He was living in New South Wales, had a family, and had buried his past deep. He denied everything. "I don't know any Michelle," he said in his interview. But the evidence was clear. Michelle was last seen hitchhiking in Shepparton. Bradley was in Shepparton that night. Gribble's testimony was detailed and consistent. Multiple people recalled Bradley referencing a murder. The trial. In 2015, the courtroom was tense. Michelle's mother sat in the front row, holding a small photo of her daughter. The prosecution painted the full picture. A vulnerable teen. A predator with a temper. a witness who stayed silent out of fear but eventually found courage. The defense tried to argue the case was too old. No forensics. No murder weapon. But the jury listened. They saw the pattern. The fear. The decades of trauma. Bradley was found guilty of murder. He was sentenced to 27 years in prison, with a minimum of 22 years to serve. A family's closure. After the sentencing, Michelle's mother spoke to reporters. She was 16. Just a child. She didn't deserve what happened to her. But now, I finally feel like I can breathe again. Detective Ron Iddles added, "Cold cases are never truly cold. Someone always knows something. You just have to be willing to dig." Epilogue. 2 other men were allegedly in the car the night Michelle died. One passed away years ago. The other disappeared. Gribble was never charged, he was the key witness, and without him, no conviction would have been possible. Bradley maintains his innocence to this day. Michelle Buckingham now has a memorial in Shepparton. Her story reminds us that justice may be delayed, but it can still arrive, through patience, courage, and one person willing to tell the truth. For 31 years, Michelle's voice was lost. Today, she has been heard.